Alex and everyone who's here today, and especially thank you to our council members for fighting for DC. So I want to talk about why we're here today and what we're going to be doing on Capitol Hill. This is the next phase in the national GOP attack on Washington, because it was never about crime. It was always about power and control and using DC as a testing ground for their far-right agenda across the country. And so they started with controlling enforcement of our laws. They're trying to make it so the president decides how our laws get enforced, what gets enforced in Washington. Now they are moving on to changing our laws entirely. You all might have heard we mentioned it. There are 14 bills that the Republicans are going to be running through the House Oversight Committee in the coming days. And I want to make it abundantly clear here today, as Councilmember White did as well, every single elected official in Washington, D.C. opposes these anti-DC bills. I just want to say it again, just to 100% clear. Every single elected official in Washington, D.C. opposes these anti-DC congressional bills. So what we're asking for today is for all of Congress, but especially congressional Democrats, to vote down every single one of these anti-DC bills. And not just out of charity for the people of D.C., but as a necessary act of protection for their own constituents. Because they're not stopping in Washington, D.C. If he succeeds in remaking D.C. in the president's image, they are coming for Chicago next. They're coming for Phoenix. They're coming for Detroit. They're coming for Philadelphia. They're coming for New York City. And so we need to stop them here before they can go on and remake this agenda in the rest of the country. And I just want to mention a few of these. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in Congress right now, but I just want to mention a few of them right now. So there is a bill that would unelect our elected Attorney General and make that Trump's puppet. Make our attorney. So we say no. There is a bill that would prohibit DC from passing emergency legislation. I know this sounds a little bit wonky, right? But it matters, because what happens is that every single law Washington passes has to wait 30 legislative days to go into effect, unless it is emergency legislation. If they remove the council's ability to pass emergency legislation, we will not be able to govern the city. It's really that simple. You can imagine there's some sort of new crime spree happening, and we have to wait 35, 40 days for Congress to review that law for it to go into effect. We need the ability to pass laws immediately, just like any other jurisdiction in this country. Yes. And, that just once again highlights the need for DC status, because at the end of the day, this will never stop happening. We will never be free from these attacks until Washington, D.C. becomes the 51st state in this country. Because the only reason this can happen to us is because we're not a state, and because we don't have the same rights that every other citizen of this country has. And so we pay taxes, we fight in the wars, we should have a voting representative in Congress, we should have 2 voting representatives in the Senate. That's not a ridiculous demand, I don't think so. So what we're seeing here is the first step in an attempt to end hope. First they're going to unelect our Attorney General, then they're going to come to the council, then they're going to come to the mayor, and then they're going to have just the president who lets you out of it. So we cannot allow these members to succeed. And what I want to make, the good news for us here in Washington, D.C., and really for everyone across the country, is that for any of these bills to pass, they have to surmount a filibuster, which means that they need 60 votes from the U.S. senators, and there's only 53 Republicans. So what I don't want to hear is a month from now, these bills have passed, and people are saying, the members of Congress say, well, the Republicans did this. If these bills pass, it will be because congressional Democrats allowed them to pass. Right? And so what we need right now is for Congress to vote no on every single one of these anti-homeless bills. And so I'm gonna repurpose what we had right here. When I say vote, I want you to say no. Vote.
No.
Vote.
No.
Vote.
No.
Thank you.